Hello everyone, welcome back to another Batman miniature game Battle Report 350 rep of Teen Titans against the Joker. We'll go over the crews in a second here. This is going to be the last showing of this particular table layout. We'll try and do something a bit different for next time, for the next few Battle Reports. Also not going to go into depth about the Teen Titan team details because they were covered in depth last time, so if you didn't catch that Battle Report, go see that if you want to understand how the team works as opposed to standard crew setup. But let's go over those quickly and then get started. So here is the Teen Titans crew. Last time it was Team Configuration A, which had Starfire and Raven. This is the Configuration B, which instead swaps out those two for Donna Troy, Wonder Girl. So we'll see how this compares. She is exceptionally powerful. Whether or not she's as good as having two other particularly powerful bodies on the field remains to be seen, but this will be a nice chance to experiment. The crew is being led by Dick Grayson, and then has Dove and Hawk and Beast Boy, and then, as we just said, Donna Troy, who is an Amazon, basically a mini Wonder Woman, very powerful, very hard to kill. We'll see how she does. And the objectives again, Riddles, Medical, and the Trigon Portal, which will be placed correctly this time, because it was placed incorrectly in the other game. And here is the Joker Horde that is going to be going against the Teen Titans. Majority of the list is actually the Blackgate Prisoners box. High Security Henchman is the most ridiculously powerful henchman that exists. I have no idea why he has basically a Batman stat line, but he does. He also starts hidden on the map somewhere. Then we have, what are the other ones called? They have prisoner numbers, but we have Carlo Grotti, which is the one with the pistol. We have, what is the other man's name? Where is he? Tyrone Johnson? High Security Henchman doesn't have a real name. And of course we have Gustav Gustafsson. The crew is being led by Killing Joker. Then we also have Rasta Clown and Hobo Clown. And then finally, as a free agent, we have Clayface. And as objectives, we have Titan, Ammo, and Loot. So we're going to be playing Scenario 4, Skirmish, today, which is the 8-inch deployment zones on either side. Teen Titans got this one in a roll-off. Joker is starting down here. Bonus points for killing the leader, and bonus points if you kill at least 50% of the value of the rep of the crew as well. So we come over here, this is how Joker's crew has deployed. Got one Surge Rating there. We have Clayface, we have the Medical for the Teen Titans next to Surge Rating. Rasta Clown and Carlo, I think, is there. We've got Riddles there. Riddle there. The Trigon Portal is placed correctly. It can be up to 12 inches away from the deployment of the Teen Titans. It has to be more than 6 inches away from an edge, so that's about as far away as it can possibly get, so it's on neutral ground essentially. A couple of lamps over there as well. High Security Henchman is up there, but it's not where he's deploying. He's going to be hidden just before the game starts. We have some more lamps. Surge Ratings over here. This is the ammo for Joker, kind of close to a Surge Rating. Then we've got Dove and Hawk. Then we have Beast Boy, who's in his Hawk form for turn 1, Joker's Titan container. And then Wonder Girl, one of my dog's hairs, and Robin next to Surge Rating there as well. And High Security Henchman has basically decided to appear there to make a mad dash for the loot at the start of the game. He can't be seen or up to 12 inches away where he deploys, and he can't be within 4 inches of an objective, so that's just outside of 4, assuming bird's eye view. So now all that remains is to see who gets first activation. It'll be the bat symbol for Teen Titans, and the Joker symbol for the Joker's crew, obviously. So in Battle Round 1, we will be starting with the Teen Titans, who do also have a bunch of, 3 passes at their disposal, but they can only use a maximum of 2 in a row. So it was very lucky the Teen Titans got first activation because they're very well aware of what the High Security Henchman is trying to do. So Hawk activated first for the Teen Titans. He is an acrobat, so he has base 5 movement plus 3 movement counters max. He only needed 2 to get up to where he is. He is spending the 3rd to pick up the loot, so it's going to be gone in a second and on his character card from now on, and he'll be generating 1 victory point with it at the end of every turn unless he willingly or forcibly drops it. Also, just to cover, the Trigon Portal gave 1 extra counter to Joker and Clayface. They both put it into movement, and the inexperience points were assigned to Donna and Dick, so they've lost a counter each. So High Security Henchman did indeed activate. He has 4 attacks and he has combo knife, so that's 6 attacks. But Hawk's pretty sturdy and has 3 defense dice, so he opted instead to go to the Riddle just to try and snatch some points. However, it backfired. He rolled a 2, it becomes a 1, so he took 1 blood damage, and that's that Riddle gone. So it does mean the Teen Titans can't get any victory points from it now as well, but that kind of backfired. So although Teen Titans had the next activation, they used 2 passes, so we're going to cover 2 of Joker's activations real quick. Carlo moved up and then fired his pistol at Hawk and did 1 blood, 1 stun. Hawk is now more powerful as long as he has damage of any type on his card, so maybe he kinda wanted that. Who knows? Then Clayface activated with his amazing movement because his, well, base 4 plus 3 for being huge, and with the Trigon portal he had 4 movement counters, so he moved all the way up to the Riddle. He activated the Riddle, got a 6, but it becomes a 5 because it's not his objective. That's still 2 victory points though, and obviously, once again, Riddles just give away points to the enemy team. So now the Teen Titans have to activate someone, but they do still have 1 pass left after that. Dove activated next and moved up next to her husband. She used 2 special to use Medic on him to remove the 1 blood, so he has 1 stun on him, which is still empowering him, although that might get healed at the end of the turn. I don't think he can opt out of the recovery attempt. Either way, she fired her light projection beams at Carlo and missed, unfortunately. It was because High Security Henchman has 8 endurance, which is just ridiculous. She opted to shoot at Carlo instead because he's just 5 endurance. They're both defense 3, and she whiffed on the hit roll, so nothing much to do there. Back over to Joker's crew now for most likely 2 activations because Teen Titans are going to use their final pass. So 2 more Joker activations in the opposite order just because we're around this end of the table. Gustaf Gustafsson activated and has moved up to touch the Trigon portal because you have to have a model touching it if you don't want to have the Titans claim it from 4 inches away. So now he's kind of denying them that. Also the, what's his name, Tyrone Johnson, he activated, he took the Surge rating and just putting a little bit of pressure on the back line. He popped out over here, gunning for the ammo next turn. So the Teen Titans have to activate something now, so let's see what happens. So another quick couple of activations. Beast Boy activated for the Teen Titans. He can pretty much go wherever he wants in this form with his fantastic movement plus large base, etc. So he's moved next to the ammo, gunning for Tyrone over here. Back over to Joker and Hobo Clan activated and simply just moved up a little bit. He's in front of the Batmobile now. Just moved away because obviously they've moved through a Surge rating this turn already, so no one else can for their crew. So it's just the Teen Titans to go with either Dick or Donna, and then back over to Joker for either himself or Rasta Clown. So Dick Grayson opted to take the Surge rating allotment for the Teen Titans and travelled all the way down here so that he is touching the medical to claim it for the end of the turn. In response, Rasta Clown activated, turned around, shot at Dick, but he had 3 movement counters left for dodging ranged attacks. Of the 3 shots, only 2 of them hit, and then the dodging range attacks worked, so no damage to him there. So now Donna Troy has to activate, and then finally Joker to end off Battle Round 1. So to see off the last couple of activations for Battle Round 1, Donna Troy used her movement to get all the way to where you can see her. She couldn't attack though, but she's right in the thick of it over this side, kind of ignoring the main street. Joker's crews, or Joker crews in general, are kind of the antithesis of Teen Titans because Teen Titans have to stick together, whereas Joker crews are big hordes that can spread themselves all over the place, so being a little bit tactical, that's the word I'm looking for, by sending her over here away from the people guarding the portal. Might have to just give up on that for a little while. Anyway, to end off the turn, Joker just moved up a little bit, didn't bother doing anything else, just getting in position for other things next turn. So, let's go on to the recap and recovery. So at the end of Battle Round 1, of course, Hawk recovered from his 1 stun damage, so he's back to full HP. That was it in terms of damage that wasn't blood. And in terms of victory points, Joker's crew solved a riddle that wasn't theirs for 2 victory points. They solved the other one and resulted in a wound. The Teen Titans have the medical down there for 3 victory points, and Hawk is still holding on to the loot for 1 victory point. Oh, also as we go into the next turn, Beast Boy has changed forms into his tiger form, and the portal will still be giving extra counters to Joker and Clayface. And Dick and Wonder Girl will still be losing a counter, of course, because they're the 2 biggest threats currently. So as we go into Battle Round 2, it will be... oh, Teen Titans again. So to get Battle Round 2 started, Dick grappled up here to fight with Rasta Clown. He did horrifically with his 4 attacks, just whiffed with them all. 2 defense dice actually absorbed 2 of them, but either way, no damage done to Rasta Clown. Did get into base to base though, so Rasta Clown can't shoot full rate of fire now, he'd have to back off, so at least Dick's given himself a bit of protection. But yeah, disastrous start. Let's see what Joker does for their first activation. So for Joker's first activation, there was a lot of potential things he could have been doing. He eventually opted for activating Tyrone, and the reason for this is he didn't need to take out Beast Boy, he just needed to do 3 endurance, and that would knock Beast Boy out of his tiger form, making him much less threatening. He did exactly 3 stun. He has reinforced gloves, Master Fighter, so it's not actually that hard for him, even though he only has 2 attacks. He got a 6 on the collateral for the extra stun, so Beast Boy was indeed knocked out of his Tiger form. Now the Tiger form itself has 3 bonus endurance, so that doesn't apply to his card, so he's still full health technically. But he is much, like, he's lost an attack, he's lost a strength +1. It's going to be much harder for him now, until next turn at least, when he can change forms again, to try and do anything. But the ammo is still being contested at least. So for the Teen Titans' next activation, Donna Troy activated. She moved up next to High Security Henchman and spent 2 action counters, or attack counters rather, to use Lasso of Persuasion, which forces the model, or any model within 2 inches that she chooses, to pass a willpower roll or suffer the Hypnotize effect. That basically means you have to roll under or equal to your willpower on 2 dice. He's willpower 6, he rolled 8, so for all intents and purposes for the rest of his turn, High Security Henchman is a Teen Titans model. So he will get an activation, but it will be a Teen Titans activation, and he'll run off and do their bidding. So that's pretty neat. She doesn't have any kind of range though, so she couldn't do anything else. And because it reads that for all intents and purposes it counts as one of your own models, presumably that means she can't just smack him a little bit as he goes. So was that worth it? High Security Henchmen can be dangerous, and I guess we're going to see how dangerous quite soon. But for now, back over to Joker. So for Joker's next activation, he was in a bit of a pickle because High Security Henchman was now a threat. So Carlo activated and has moved back here because High Security Henchman isn't a trickster, so he can't reassign where his tokens have been given this turn, and he has nothing in movement, so he's just base 4 movement. So he can't actually be attacked by him, so he's safe there from his own teammate hitting him. And he was able to do something. He shot his last round of ammunition, only rate of fire 1 because he moved, at Dick and sadly missed, but at least he tried to do something, and now he is free from reprisal at least when High Security Henchman decides to activate for the Teen Titans. And it's over to them now, so we'll see what happens. Beast Boy activated next and took 3 swings at Tyrone here and wasn't able to do anything to him. He was easily blocked, so he is still contesting the ammo though, so it's going to give up no points, but obviously he needs to change forms quickly if he wants to make any progress here. So a few Joker activations to cover now. Clayface has moved up, he couldn't quite get to the Titan, but he is gunning for it. Teen Titans used a pass, so Gustav Gustafsson has just kind of shuffled on the portal and staying in base to base with it. Other pass was used, so Hobo Clown has moved up to the Surgrain, but he didn't have the special needed to activate it. So now the Teen Titans have to go, and they've just got Hawk and Dove left, and then it's just Joker, I think, to end off Battle Round 2. So next activation for the Teen Titans was Hawk, and of course I was forgetting that High Security Henchman is working for the Teen Titans this turn. Hawk backed up and charged into Clayface with 4 attacks, only got 1 through in the end. He has reinforced gloves though, so that's 2 stun. I don't remember if we remembered to mention, but Clayface is in his solid form right now, so he's still got 1 endurance left on that, so it hasn't actually touched his main HP pool yet. So Joker himself activated next, Killing Joker that is. He moved all the way around here thanks to the extra movement given by the Trigon portal. Shot one of his 2 rounds of ammunition for his gun at Dick, missed, well sorry, he hit but failed the wound roll, so that just does just a scratch, 1 stun to Dick. So now it's Dove and High Security Henchman to go to wrap up the turn. So for the final 2 activations of Battle Round 2, Dove shot her light projection beams again at Hobo Clown and did 1 hit that got through, so 1 blood, 2 stun from that. She then took the Sur grating and has popped out next to the medical. Potentially dangerous, but at least she's holding it for this turn. And then finally High Security Henchman activated for the Teen Titans, which is a little odd. Nowhere near close enough to do anything with just his base movement, so forced him just to move back a little bit. He's now back under Joker's control unless Wonder Girl persuades him again next turn. So I believe as everybody went, we will now go to rest and recovery and recap. So as we cover the tail end of Battle Round 2, just want to cover Rasta Clown did not have an activation, we totally forgot. He took 2 swings, just punches at Dick, missed, and then pulled back to hopefully be able to fire his gun next activation, so we did cover it eventually. In terms of rest though, Dick recovered his stun, Hobo Clown did not, Clayface did, and in terms of victory points, 3 for the medical again for Teen Titans, plus 1 for the loot that Hawk is holding. Joker's crew have not scored anything this turn, but they are in a good position to do a lot of damage next turn, because there's still ammunition kicking around. I think only Carlo has run out of ammo so far. So, let's lean over to the bag. It's very, very likely to be Joker because first activation this time. And it is... Yep, Joker gets first activation in Battle Round 3. So to get Battle Round 3 started, Rasta Clown shot his last round of ammunition at Dick, as one would expect. Only one hit landed, but then Dick expended just one dodging ranged attack movement dice and avoided it. He only wanted to risk using one because he's expecting more shots coming in, so wanted to hold off because Joker definitely has a gunshot left. Carlo doesn't, but I don't know, there is other guns on the field. So that was a sigh of relief, and now over to the Teen Titans for their first activation. Donna Troy activated for the Teen Titans and opted not to try and persuade this turn and instead attack High Security Henchman, resulting in 2 blood plus an extra stun for the crit, plus it matched, so a knockdown on High Security Henchman as well. She was doing, like, it's very hard for her to miss because if she attacks with one of her weapons, not unarmed, she has Weapon Master, so that's +1 to hit, and her Amazon lineage gives her +1 to hit, so it's technically +2 to hit, well not technically, literally is, so it's very hard for her to miss. But High Security Henchman had 2 defense dice and negated 2 of the attacks with a lucky roll, so it could have been a lot more damage, but that puts him at half health, I believe, because he has a ridiculous amount of HP for Henchman. Yep, 3 blood, 1 stun on him in total, and obviously knockdown, so he's going to have to spend a counter to stand up, so pretty good result. Joker activated next for his crew, and he stood still, so he used his full rate of fire pistol, his last round of ammunition for his pistol, on Dick, who had 1 dice left to use for dodging ranged attack. He needed it, he used it, and he got away with it. Does mean he's going to have a very tough time moving when he eventually activates, but he spared himself a ridiculous amount of damage. Joker then just moved up to contest the medical and also touch the sewer grating over here by Dove. So Beast Boy in his gorilla form attacked Tyrone next. He only gets 3 attacks in this form and managed to do absolutely nothing, even with the +1 strength. Just didn't do anything to him. Very embarrassing. I thought Beast Boy would have a better time just taking care of a henchman, but as it turns out, no he doesn't. Back over to Joker's crew next. Clayface activated next and managed to absolutely destroy Hawk by doing, well, it was 3 blood, 3 stun, but the first blood Hawk suffers turns into stun, so it's turned into 2 blood, 4 stun. He has 1 endurance remaining, and then Clayface moved next to the Titan container to claim it. Didn't use it, but managed to hurt him very badly. He's 1 health away from going down and is in a bit of a predicament. So Dove activated next for the Teen Titans, and from where she was standing, it was within 12 to shoot at Hobo Clown with her last usage of light projection. Did 1 blood, 2 stun, taking him over his very small endurance, so he is now knocked out for a point. And then also opted to just stand still. Obviously Joker is contesting the medical, so she can't get any points for it, but opted to stay there rather than move through the sewer grates to go help Hawk, because I think there's not much anyone can do for him quickly enough. Tyrone activated next, and the good thing about Beast Boy being in this form is he becomes defense 4, so he's a bit harder to hit, so Tyrone, even with +1s to hit from Master Fighter, wasn't able to do anything to him. So it's a stalemate there, and they're both still contesting the ammo. So the final activation for Teen Titans this turn is Hawk, and he's in a very bad position. He only has one counter left after taking all that damage. He can't move unless he chooses to drop the loot, because he doesn't have any movement counters left, so if he did drop the loot, he'd be able to walk up to Clayface and punch him once for potentially 2 stun, which would destroy his solid form for a turn, to be fair, I think, unless it has 4 endurance. No, it has 4 endurance, so it wouldn't even do that. So it basically comes down to, does he just accept what's going to happen and then gain 1 victory point for holding the loot this turn? And the answer is yes, that's what he's going to do. So now the rest of Joker's activations can happen without any interruptions, so that would be, who hasn't gone this turn? High Security Henchman for sure, Gustav, Carlo I believe as well hasn't gone, so we'll just cover those real quick in a second. So we're going to quickly cover the rest of the activations, but quickly to start with an apology because Robin had not taken a turn. Totally forgot because he was doing so much dodging of ranged attacks, assumed that was involved in his turn, and of course it wasn't. Totally forgot for him to do anything, so he didn't have much to do because he couldn't move much, so he just dropped down and using his reach on his bow staff, struck Rasta Clown for 2 blood and knocked him down. Other than that, High Security Henchman only had enough to stand up and swing once at Wonder Girl, did nothing. Carlo is backing up because he's going to go on Portal Garden duty, and Gustav has started moving up because he's the only one in Joker's crew with any ammunition left besides Joker's camera. So I think that covers everything now properly. We can safely move on to recovery and recap. So at the end of battle round 3, Clayface recovered a stun, so he's now back to full health. High Security Henchman recovered the 1 stun on him. Hobo Clown did not wake up because it's exceptionally hard to roll up 4 or under on 2 dice. In terms of victory points gained, the Joker's crew got 2 victory points for Clayface claiming the Titan. The Teen Titans got 1 victory point for the loot that Hawk is holding on to, most likely just for that turn and not going forwards. and then 1 victory point for knocking out Hobo Clown as well. So I think that covers everything. Now all that remains to be seen is who is going first in Battle Round 4. Again, it's more likely to be Joker, but we shall see. It is, if I can get my hand out, there it is indeed Joker's crew going first. To get Battle Round 4 started, High Security Henchman activated and decided to test the metal of this Amazon. 6 attacks in total, 4 attack dice, and then combo with knife for an extra 2 against Donna Troy there. As you can see, he only did 1 blood. That was 1 successful attack that got through. She has a shield on her back that gives her +1 to block rolls. Her Amazon lineage gives her +1 to block rolls. She had 2 blocks of sitting waiting, so that resulted in only 1 blood getting through. He then moved up next to Viscera Grating there. So Donna Troy activated in retort, decided not to go after High Security Henchman and went over here. Could not get close enough to hit Carlo, so she used 2 action counters to attempt to hypnotise him with the Lasso of Persuasion. He has 4 willpower and he rolled 2 2s, so he passed it and is not under her control. However, she is within 4 of the Trigon portal, so now Carlo or Gustave are going to have to pull back and touch it, or it's going to count as being claimed by the Teen Titans this turn. Clayface activated next, and his attacks with his mutated weapon or whatever it's called have reach, so he could attack Hawk from where he was standing, still claiming the Titan. Did 1 blood, 1 stun. That's actually become 2 stun again because of the rule he has, but that is enough to knock him out as he only had 1 endurance remaining, so the loot has also been dropped right there as well. Robin activated next for the Teen Titans. He was tempted to go after Joker, but decided it would be a better idea to try and get more points first. He charged up here, he attacked Gustave Gustafsson with his bow staff. It has reach, so he wasn't actually touching him quite. Only did 2 blood, but did get the knockdown on him, and he is also within 4 inches of Trigon Portal, so now they must get someone in base to base with it, otherwise it's going to give up a bonus point. And then that's it. So now it's back over to Joker's crew, who still has the 2 henchmen sitting there, still has Tyrone at the back, and still has Joker himself. Tyrone once again tried to get through Beast Boy's defences in gorilla form and was unable to do so, so they're still just sitting there stalemated, although High Security Henchman is on the way. Div activated, moved around slightly and tried to attack the Joker just with physical attacks, and she doesn't even have reinforced gloves. Wasn't able to do anything to him. He just used up a bunch of defence dice because no one else is going to touch him this turn. Gustave Gustafsson stood up with a movement counter, then used his normal movement to touch the Trigon portal, so it's not going to give up points this turn. He then just shot a rate of fire 1 because he moved, shot at Robin and missed. So he's got 1 shot left. He's the only person with ammunition. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, where did this come from? Beast Boy did 6 stun to Tyrone, who only has 4 endurance, so once you crack the shell, it's kind of easy to knock him out. So yeah, Beast Boy has successfully knocked out Tyrone. You can't score points from the ammo, but he's at least contesting it still. We'll see what he decides to do next turn, but finally, that took way longer than it should have. So, just to cover Joker's final activations, Gustave, well, we already covered him actually, Carlo kind of tried to block Robin, managed to do 1 stun just by throwing a punch. Rasta Clown had to spend a counter to stand up, then tried to attack Robin in the back and did nothing. Over here, Joker tried to hit Dove and did nothing. Also, just going to point out, totally forgot this Joker has the unique rule to prove a point, which means that people within 6 inches of him lose 1 willpower. Have not been taking that into consideration. I think it only would have affected Dove and she did no damage to him, so it hasn't influenced anything, but it was a rule, totally forgetting. He also could have been intimidating for free, which is potentially again, but he hasn't taken any damage, so I don't think it's made a difference this time, just something to remember in the future. So we'll be back with the recovery and recap. So at the end of that battle round, Robin did not recover from his stun, and the only person to wake up was Hawk. He needed to roll 6 or under on 2 dice, and he rolled a 6 exactly, so he is conscious. Hobo Clown's still unconscious, Tyrone is unconscious, and Donna's just got blood damage on her, so that couldn't be healed. It can be healed during her activation now, though. So in terms of victory points gained, Joker's crew got 3 victory points for knocking out a free agent when Hawk was knocked down. The Teen Titans got 1 victory point for knocking a henchman out, and I think that was it for knocking Tyrone out, because Hobo Clown was the previous turn. The medical is being contested, the Trigon portal is being contested because Gustave is touching it, and Hawk dropped the loot. Oh, Joker's crew also got points for the Titan, sorry, forgot that, so they gained 5 victory points this turn. I believe the Teen Titans are still ahead by 3 though, as we go into the penultimate turn. It's a 50-50 chance who's getting first activation. It is going to be, if I can get my hand out of the bag, it's going to be the Teen Titans. That means Joker's guaranteed to get activation first in the final turn. So, Battle Round 5, the penultimate turn, got started with the Teen Titans and opted to do an interesting thing. Forgot to mention also Beast Boy became Hawk form this turn. Speaking of Hawks, Hawk activated, and thanks to being heavily wounded, he's on 1 endurance. He had 3 counters to distribute, he put them all into movement. He spent 1 to stand up, although I just realised he is an acrobat, so he doesn't need to spend that. So in fact, he will be moved 2 inches more from where he's currently standing. He spent 1 movement to pick up the loot that was still next to him though, and then he ran away. The reason he ran away is because if they want to deny him that 1 loot point, they're going to have to chase him. So he's actually going to be like 2 inches, just give or take there. Just to get him away from Clayface, basically. Gustafsson activated for Joker next and fired the last rounds of ammunition that's going to be expended this game, most likely. He shot at Robin, did much better this time, did 2 blood and a knockdown on him, opted to stay still just to be contesting the Trigon portal. So that's Robin on 2 endurance remaining, I think, 2 or 3. So to retaliate, Robin activated and moved up next to Gustav and smacked him. Did only 1 blood and then 1 stun from the crit result, but that does put him on 1 endurance remaining. He's got 5 endurance in total, and he's got 3 blood, 1 stun sitting on him. A couple of activations now to cover in his melee in the middle. Carlo, whichever, activated for Joker's crew, moved up and tried to hit Robin again and missed. So then Donna Troy activated and she landed between the 2 of them. She split her attacks, 2 on Gustav, 2 on Carlos. The 2 on Gustav did an amazing 4 blood, 1 stun. He is now dead. And then also just 2 blood on Carlo, but he's still got 3 endurance remaining. So now it's back over to Joker, who still has himself to pick from, Clayface, Rasta Clown, and High Security Henchman. Next move for Joker's crew was High Security Henchman, who has moved up all the way around here and is here. So now it's up to either Dove or Beast Boy to activate for the Teen Titans. Dove activated and took some swings at Joker and once again did nothing to him. She really can't do much damage once she's used up all her light projecting. Then Rasta Clown moved up behind Donna Troy, attacked her and did nothing in return. So now it's just Beast Boy who's going to just move because he's in his bird form. And then it's back to Joker for him and Clayface, so we'll probably cover those 3 activations in one more update, back in a second. So for those last 3 activations, we're not covering them in the order in which they happened, just going around the table. Beast Boy has moved in range of the portal there. Joker managed to do 1 stun to Dove. He doesn't have any close range weapons, so he's just punching and kicking. Then over here, Clayface had nothing in movement, so he's simply repositioned himself in front of the Titan just to avoid any last turn shenanigans trying to contest. So now let's move on to the recovery and recap for the penultimate turn. So at the end of the penultimate battle round, Dove recovered her stun, but nobody else recovered anything, so Hobo Clown's knocked out for the rest of the game, so is Tyrone. I forgot to mention during Donna Troy's activation that turn, but she did spend 1 special to activate regeneration, so the 1 blood she had on her is gone. In terms of victory points, Teen Titans hold the Trigon portal for 2. They also have a chance to score an additional up to 2 points for members of their team also controlling it, so I guess you can count Robin as being within control range and Donna as well for the additional 2. Enemies in base to base only count as contesting. It specifically says they have to be in base to base, so even though Carlos is touching Robin's base, it doesn't count in this instance, it seems. Let's see what else. Also, a henchman got made a casualty, of course. Poor Gustafsson, so that's 2 victory points in total, 1 for being knocked out, 1 for a casualty. Joker's crew didn't score anything this turn, so they're going to have a really, really good final turn if they want to manage to bring this back points-wise, although they've managed to hold their own more than acceptably. And we know that Joker's crew is getting final activation in the last turn, because theirs is the last token in the bag. So to get the final battle round started, Carlo, because it is Carlo, double check this time, not Carlos, activated, took a couple of swings at Robin, missed, and then just moved slightly in contention range of the portal though, so he's going to have to be dealt with. High chance of him being so, given that there's 3 Titans around him, but we'll see. Beast Boy activated and attacked Carlo, did 2 blood, 2 stun, and has knocked him out. So the portal was once again not being contested. It doesn't seem like Joker's going to be able to pull back anything at the portal, really, so we'll just be real quick here, finishing up the activations that matter. So to bring us to the end with the activations that matter, the Rasta Clown that was there moved up, touched the portal, attacked Robin, didn't do anything to him, was incapable of finishing him off anyway. Donna Troy activated, absolutely murderized him with about 6 blood, then moved into range. That's 2 points for a henchman dying in total. Over here, it's physically impossible for Joker or Dove to kill each other, so there wasn't really any point playing it out. High Security Henchman, however, has walked into contention range of the ammo. He's now claiming it for 3 victory points. And then over here, Didn't bother moving them because Hawk was just going to move around the corner with full movement allowance. If Clayface wanted to chase him, he's really only chasing 2 victory points, one for potentially making a free agent a casualty and then one for denying the loot, but he's gaining 2 from where he's sitting, so 6.5 a dozen basically. So that's going to take us to the final wrap up. And so at the end of the game, a second showing for the Teen Titans team, and they are very, very fun. It's very surprised that they were able to hold their own with the Donna Troy setup rather than the Starfire Raven, because Raven on her own is so powerful, and Starfire is pretty good and teams up well with Dick Grayson, but her on her own, she's just so ridiculously powerful. If you want to include her in a Brave and the Bold list, she counts as a legend. That's how powerful she is, so she more than makes up for it. I'm actually genuinely surprised. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. In terms of victory points gained, a henchman got knocked out for 1 for the Teen Titans, another henchman was killed for a total of 2. The portal gave 2 plus an additional 2 bonus points for how many models were around it. The medical was contested, so that gave nothing. And Hawk holds the loot for 1 victory point as well. Joker scored the ammo for 3, and the Titan for 2. So at the end of everything, that brings the Teen Titans final score to 26 victory points, which plays just 14 for the Joker. In terms of the scenario bonus objectives, neither leader was rendered unconscious or a casualty, so no victory points there, and neither crew lost 50% worth of their total reputation either, so the scenario gave up nothing. It's quite a good scenario though, because it means that the action can kind of start early in turn 1, because they have the 8-inch deployment zone as opposed to like 4 inches or a corner diagonal. It was a fun one. Teen Titans are very powerful. The Blackgate Prisoner pack, which basically go with any kind of evil crew, they're highly effective. They're flexible, they've got a lot of ammo between them, although you can burn through it as you saw. But yeah, Tyrone put up a fight against Beast Boy for longer than he should have been able. High Security Henchman is just ridiculously good. It's baffling why he is as good as he is for the points he costs. Like, he's cheaper than John Diggle, I think, and he really only suffers in having movement of 2, but attack 4, and he has combo with his knife, so he can get 6 attacks. They do 1 blood each, they're sharp, so he gets to reroll wounds. He has 8 endurance. All the rest of the Blackgate Prisoners have 5, which is also pretty good. It was looking a little bit dicey there if Dick had not been as lucky with his dodging ranged attacks and he'd gone down. It still wouldn't have necessarily swung it in Joker's favour, but it would have been much closer because he would have died super early, giving up, what, 4 victory points? 3 victory points extra on top of the 4 that a leader would give you anyway, or 5 if he's a casualty, so it would have made a bit of a difference. Anyway, that's going to do it for this battle report. Next time we'll be on a brand new table layout with some brand new crews. Thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Please do show your support in any way you can, and we'll see you in the future for more Batman. Until then, ta-ta for now.